Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd show you my latest kiln opening. I'm getting ready for a sale this week, an online sale. So this is going to be my last kiln opening before the sale. And I thought I would share a few of the pieces with you. So, and I'm coming to you from Summerside Finkel Pottery, Summerside, Prince Edward Island in Canada, East Coast. We're on an extreme cold morning today. So I think wind chills are supposed to get into the minus 40s Celsius tonight, so it's going to be cold. And I know parts of the US as well are under a cold warning, and most of the Maritimes are. So, but luckily it's going to be quick. It's coming through, I think, just for a day and a half, and then things are going to go back to seasonal, so that's a good thing. Anyway, let's have a look at what came out of the kiln. So here is an olive oil pourer in my yin and yang glaze. So this holds, I would say, about 750 mils of oil. And I also made some more yin and yang mugs. So they're like a fluted shape. And this is my studio black, my studio satin white, and then a strip of alabaster, winter wood, and flux in the middle where they meet. Some of them are more drippy than others. So they just vary, as you all know, as being most of you are potters, I'm assuming, watching this. If you're like me, I'm addicted to kiln opening videos. So I also did this mug in green tea, and so it's green tea, and then I had a little bit of carving, which kind of disappeared a bit, but I had a bit of carving in the middle, and I put one coat of frost blue over the carving, then the green tea. But first, before I did anything else, I put manganese wash on the rim to get these really cool metallic-y brown drips. Look at the handle. That turned out nice. And then I also did a little bowl. Probably could have done one more coat here. And then there's some more drips in that manganese wash with the frost blue in the carving. I did a few mugs in, this is called Misty Mauve. So this is my studio mauve and my studio white inside, and then blue hydrangea, probably all the way down to maybe an inch past the misty mauve, or the mauve, sorry, and then about an inch of flux on the top, and white inside. And you get some really nice drippage with that, and the gold flecks coming through from the blue hydrangea. So those turned out quite nice. And white inside. This was a bit of a surprise. It's a soft, so winter wood on the bottom, mayco winter wood on the bottom, my studio white inside. And I did a rim of coyote gunmetal green with a coat of flux over it. And it turned this beautiful soft blue, really cool. Gunmetal green is such an interesting glaze because it reacts differently to everything you put it on or what you layer it with. So it's a really, really fun glaze to play with. I made one of these. I was kind of playing with this design idea, and probably like most of you, I don't want to do like 20 of something until I try it once and make sure that I'm happy with the result. But I am really happy with this one. I kind of did it with Valentine's in mind. So this glaze is called Pike's Purple, and it's in John Britt's book, Exploring Mid-Range Glazes. It's a really nice, stable glaze, and it's got a beautiful satin finish to it. It didn't run at all. You can see that. But it has some interest. It's not flat. It's almost got a little bit of a fleck to it, if that makes sense. So anyway, for those of you that make your own glazes, this is a fun glaze to try for sure. These, I'm quite happy with how these turned out. So this is my studio white inside, my studio dark blue on the top, probably third. And any dark blue would work, I think, for this. It wouldn't have to be, could be a dark blue celadon or whatever you like to use for your dark blue. Bottom 2/3 is alabaster, so it's a nice matte. And then there is a coat over the dark blue of olive float. and then splotches of light flux. So not like a band of light flux, but just random splotches all over the place. And you get this really cool waterfall effect. There's blues in there and greens and all kinds of different things happening. So that's really fun. So I did a few of those. This is the same one in my swirly mug. Exact same application for these three that I'm showing you right now. And they all turned out quite nice. Pretty happy with all of those. And this one, which is Winterwood on the bottom, white, My Studio white inside. Sorry, Winterwood on the whole outside. And then splotches of Coyote Fairy Rose. So I didn't do a band of Coyote Fairy Rose. I just put splotches of it on. And then I put a coat of light flux in a band and on the handle to get some drips. So those turned out quite nice. Fairy Rose is such a strong pink. You really want to not go too crazy with it, but it's also very beautiful. So it turned out nice. A few more Valentine's mugs. So this is Love is Love. And this is Fairy Rose on the top, My Studio Dark Blue on the bottom, a coat of Winterwood where they meet, and then flux, just to get it dripping. I didn't go crazy with the flux because that strip was pretty close to the bottom, and I didn't want to get a bunch of runs. So I took it pretty easy. And then another Love is Love mug, soft pink on the top, white on the bottom, and white inside. And this pink glaze recipe I got from glazy.org, so you can find that pretty easily. This would be Power Turquoise on the top, My Studio Black on the bottom, and then a strip of Gunmetal Green just on the Power Turquoise up against where the black is. So the black and the turquoise meet, and then there's a strip of Power Turquoise, Gunmetal Green over the Power Turquoise, leaving some Power Turquoise at the top with nothing on it. So that's in the black at the bottom. And it's just another showing of how that gunmetal green can be so interesting. The next fluxy runner I want to try is I belong to a Facebook group called Exploring Mid-Range Glazes. So it's based on John Britt's book. And a few potters have been talking about dirty snow. And they posted some pictures, and it looks pretty similar to the flux, the mayco flux. And I'm thinking it would be a lot cheaper, and I could dip it versus painting it on. So I'm going to give that a shot. I'll let you know how that turns out, because it is so much easier to dip than to paint. So Power Turquoise, Amaco Fire Brick Red on the bottom, Gunmetal Green. And you can see that I had carved in the mug, and that carving really encouraged the drips to drip in a very unique way, which is surprising because it was a very subtle carving. It wasn't like a huge, thick carving. Same color. And in this one, I put 4 dimples across from each other in the mug, because I have a mug like that I bought from a potter from Nova Scotia, and I absolutely love it. So it gives you something to grab onto if you like to sort of hold on to the bare part of your mug when you're drinking your beverage. I made a couple of these. So once again, Power Turquoise, Pike's Purple on the bottom, and then a strip of Gunmetal Green over the Power Turquoise where they meet. So those turned out quite nice. I love color in the winter because winter is a bit of a, I had a bit of a run there. I'm gonna have to grind that off. I do have the Advancer Kiln shelves, so runs are not nearly as heart-wrenching as they used to be. They're pretty simple to clean up. Game changer for those of you that like to experiment with runny glazes. Advancer Kiln shelves are your friends. They're expensive, but so worth the money. So this is a satin white mug, just with red inside. I just kept this one really simple. Sometimes people want a really simple mug, but I didn't make a lot of them because I don't love simple mugs. I like something happened on them. This is my Icy Blue. So this is Norse blue on the bottom, probably 2/3. Top third is my studio white. Then there's a strip of blue hydrangea that goes probably maybe an inch past the Norse blue, and then a strip of flux on the top, and you get lots of nice strips and color variations. Like, look, there's pink in there. I don't know if you can see that because there's a glare, but there's pink, there's gold flecks, there's whites, there's blues, there's turquoise. Lots of stuff happening with that. And here's just another one, same glaze application. This one was kind of a nice surprise. This is Coyote Blue Purple, which is also a runner, can be a bit of a runner. So I didn't go too crazy on it. And so I put blue purple, I put Winterwood on the bottom 2/3 of the mug. Then I put blue purple on the top third. And then I put flux on probably the top inch. And look at the variations I'm getting there. So purples and blues and taupe and speckles, like lots of stuff happening. So that's really kind of cool. And here's another one, same treatment. And just my white inside. Most of my mugs, I would say 80% of them are just my studio white inside. And I did one wine cup in that as well. Look at that nice drip. Turned out nice. Then this is, oh, the snow removal guy has arrived. So if you hear some noise in the background, that's what it is. This one is, and I just copied this. I saw it on some site I follow. I can't remember which one. So it's mayco, Winterwood on the bottom, Power Turquoise on the top, and then I just did one coat of seaweed, of Amaco seaweed, over the Power Turquoise, and it really added this depth, made it more blue with some variations. So that's really kind of fun. I really like that. I'll be using that again. I only made a couple of pieces because I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but it's quite pretty. And my Power Turquoise is a dipping glaze, so I just dip it and then I just painted one coat on of the seaweed. So I mix dipping and painted glazes all the time. There's a few that don't play well together, and I cannot remember off the top of my head which ones there are, but I know there's a few that I've had some results with that I did not love. So the last thing I did is I make these things called attitude mugs, and I glaze them very simply because to me it's all about the words, so I keep it simple on the outside. And the language is a bit spicy on them, so if spicy language offends you, it's time for you to turn off the video. It's not too bad, but fair warning. First one is not spicy though. This one I did for Valentine's Day, and it says, I would fight a bear for you, not a grizzly or a brown bear, but maybe a Care Bear. I'd fight one of those for you. So I thought that was just kind of fun for Valentine's, and that's just done in Power Turquoise, and I just dipped the whole thing in Power Turquoise and wiped back so that the glaze stayed in the letters, and white on the bottom. And I used the same method for these. So this would probably be my #1 selling attitude mug. And it just says, here we fucking go again. I mean, good morning. And I have a couple of those that came out of the kiln, just in my studio black with white on the bottom, white inside. And I did a couple more in this one. These say, my give a fuck is broken. White inside. Last one. I'm a fucking professional. So that's kind of a peek at my kiln. Some of the info you might be curious about, I'm using, I think most of the pieces, I think all of the pieces in this were Tucker's white stoneware. So it's a cone 5/6 clay. And I fire my kiln to cone, about a cone 5.5. And I use Camille Hoffman's slow cool schedule for all my kilns, because I used to get a lot of pinholing in my Celadons, and it has eliminated that problem completely. I tried lots of other things before that, all the other stuff, you know, bis fire to higher temperature and all that stuff, and it was still pinholing, but this solved the issue. So thank you, Camille Hoffman. That is a great firing schedule. So that's about it. If you have any questions, reach out. I'll see you next time I have a kiln to show you.